Hello and welcome again to Get Celebritized. I'm your host, Aurea McGarry, and this show is dedicated to people like you who want to earn more so you can live more, live big, live bold, live your best legacy ever so that you can give back more and make a difference in this world to the people and projects and nonprofits that you care most about. And the guests that I bring on are here to help you, inspire you to go over, under, around, or through anything that may stop you in this journey you have to living your best life, to making a difference, to earning more money so you have more to give back. And who knows, you may end up on TEDx stages. You may end up creating a cure for cancer. We don't know, but we want to inspire you and ignite you to seeing other people saying they can do their dream. Why can't I do mine? And today is going to be no different because today I'm bringing on a fascinating woman you are absolutely going to fall in love with. I've known her just a few minutes and I'm already in love with her. Her name is Vanessa Elston and she's calling in from Cambridge. That's over in England. Okay. She is a quantum healer, a speaker. She specializes in depression, anxiety, burnout, and overwhelm. Do I have your attention yet? Probably, right? She also really seems to help people that have recovered and recovering from child abuse and sexual abuse as a child. So lean in. Here she comes up to the stage. Welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Wow, thank you so much for inviting me onto this amazing show and giving me the opportunity to speak to your audience. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Vanessa, I'm so glad to have you here. You are fascinating. But besides that, I could listen to your voice and your accent all day long. So just keep talking. This is wonderful. And your smile is contagious. I'm really excited for what you do. And Vanessa, as you probably already know, the topic of depression, anxiety, burnout, overwhelm has catapulted, tripled, quadrupled even since the pandemic, probably gotten worse. But let's start here. One, what is quantum healing and how did you start your journey into this industry? And it might have something to do with wanting to do a cartwheel once again.
I'm glad you picked up on that. Well, yes, I haven't been a healer like a lot of people all my life, since childhood, although I'd always been told I had the gift. But I come from a religious family and it didn't really fit with that.
What is a quantum healer?
A quantum healer is somebody that uses quantum resonance, which is a term used in quantum physics and quantum mechanics. And that means you have the ability to use intention over a huge amount of space. Quantum resonance can travel literally across countries through a computer screen. And I use quantum resonance to pinpoint where negative energy is resting in the body and what its essence is. So very often negative energy will be the voices in your head that tell you you're not good enough, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're not tall enough, you're too old, you're too young, whatever it is that you're not good enough for, that makes you feel unworthy. And so once I've pinpointed it and I've established exactly when it trapped, so what the event was that allowed it to enter your body and stay there rumbling away, feeding all negativity, I just clear it and I literally pull it out of you, breathe it into me and breathe it out and return it to source. Now, when I say source, that's what I call God, when I speak to clients, because everybody has their own religion and I'm very respectful of that.
No, that's good. That's great. And how did you get into this? Because you had a situation come up in your life that you said no to and it kind of led you down this road. Tell us about that.
Well, before I was a healer, I was an award-winning entrepreneur with a really successful interior design business. I'd worked in fashion. I'd been a buyer for Harrods. I'd worked directly for Al-Fayed as a troubleshooter.
I've see that in your bio. That is cool.
I've dressed Princess Diana. I've done all sorts of exciting things. But
wait, you did what with Princess Diana?
Oh, I dressed her. And then I've measured the little princes when they were tiny for shirts and so that we could match their dad and them in the same type of cloth, And all those sort of cool things.
That is so cool. We got to have another conversation at the end of the show about how you got into that. As an entrepreneur, people are always looking for a big break or a big collaboration or partnership. And if that was your goal and you wanted that to happen, I want to find out more towards the end of the show how you brought that into manifestation, how you brought that into your life, because that's a big deal. That's cool. That could be anyone listening or watching. It's a big deal for who do they want to meet, who would they most like to do business with or have this experience with. So we'll go into that a little bit later, but keep going because this is fascinating.
Brilliant. So, really successful, earned loads of money, had the big car, had the big house, all of that. Then I got divorced, my best friend died, my father died, and it was an awful lot of trauma all in one hit. And then one day I just woke up and I couldn't move. So when you wake up tomorrow morning and you bounce out of bed, just be really grateful for unencumbered movement, because let me tell you, when you wake up and you can't even move your neck, it's terrifying. So very unhappy. We had lots of trips to the doctors, endless tests, and they didn't really know what was wrong with me.
We really couldn't move. We just could not move.
Just could not move, and they put me on steroids, which had horrible side effects and enabled me to be a little bit less worse. And, or they put me on stronger things, and then I couldn't sleep and was sick when I ate. None of it was good.
Yeah, so take a prescription. That'll cure you.
Yeah. And here's another one, to counterbalance the side effects in that one. Brilliant marketing model, not with my health or getting better at the center of it felt. So they told me that I had life in a wheelchair to look forward to, and that my illness would be degenerative. Now, I'm not somebody to take news like that lightly, because I used to be a gymnast, and the thought of not being able to do a cartwheel and teach my grandchildren how to do it, I know I'm nearly 60, wasn't something I was willing to really put up with. Well, the universe was really kind to me. A friend popped round. I was sobbing, looked like a wreck. My hair was up on end, couldn't brush it. Horrible. And she said, I've just had a session with this healer in Beirut over Zoom. She's amazing. You need to see her. She'll fix you. But you'll never get an appointment. It took me 8 weeks. She's got a constant waiting list. So I begged her for the number, WhatsApped her straight away. And she came straight back to me and said, get on Zoom now. I've just had a cancellation. I can see you and you need to see me right now. So we had a session. She highlighted all the emotional traumas that I'd had through my life that had been compounded over the years, because I was really a people pleaser and a great one for saying, I'm fine, everything's great. How are you? Everything's wonderful in my life when it was all sort of crashing and burning around me. And
a lot of us women do that.
Oh yeah. We're meisters at it, aren't we? I'm fine, everything's great. Just close the house and it's just exploded. But fantastic, thanks very much. How are you? Right. So she started to clear all of that negative energy, and I started to feel lighter and lighter and lighter. And we had 5 sessions over 10 weeks, and at the end of it, I could dance to hip hop around my kitchen, as I always like to do every morning to start my day. I love the Wu-Tang Clan. And without that, my day didn't start on the right. It didn't start on the good foot. So to get back to that was amazing. And then after that, she said, the reason you're ill, the reason you've been stopped in your tracks is because you're a really powerful healer and you've been ignoring it for years. And my job is to teach you how to activate that really quickly, because you've got to get out there and start healing people. So I wasn't really willing to experience any of that again. And I just stepped straight into it. And it's been a joyful experience, really.
Wow. So that is like one of those divine interventions here where the doctor's giving you, besides they're giving all the drugs, just, here, take a pill and enjoy your wheelchair. Did they give you any diagnosis? Like, did they diagnose you with something? Because now you're well, there's no label on it. It's just like, here's what was happening. Here's what was stopping you. And there's no medical term for it. But did they give you a misdiagnosis and tell you had something that you didn't?
They said I had viral arthritis, and that it was very similar to rheumatoid arthritis and would be affected by cold weather. And really the best thing I could do was move to Spain, and take 8 different drugs a day, including a chemo drug and a blood thinning drug. And I was like,
Did you ever go back and tell them that they were wrong?
Yeah, I did. And they weren't really that interested, which
Of
I
course
found
not.
incredible because, this didn't require any tablets. It cured me and got me to a point where I don't need any tablets and probably never will again. So
Right.
why wouldn't they be interested? Isn't that interesting? Instead of being opened with welcome arms, open arms, I was almost cast away until, almost put in the loony bin category of like, yeah, she says a healer cured her.
Sure, sure. But the thing they can't deny is they said you wouldn't walk and you could have a wheelchair, and you walk into their office. And Vanessa, in my medical chart, because I had cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and my doctors, though this particular doctor, my oncologist, was super sweet. He was so open-minded. He encouraged me to do whatever it took to make me feel better because he knew cancer is detrimental, right? So he goes, if chelation, if coffee enemas, if whatever you want to do makes you feel better, go for it. He didn't say it helped, it didn't help. He said, if you like that, you go for it. And you keep, because I had such a positive attitude. But the one thing that they couldn't deny was by removing my vocal cord nerve, they said, you will never be able to speak above a faint whisper. That would be impossible. So when God started giving me back my voice, because I prayed for that and I got a healing, it was a couple of years later, just started getting better and better. And it wasn't just disconnected, it was removed. So they put in my chart, it is a miracle. It shouldn't have happened. No, there's no medical diagnosis for that, no medical reason why you are speaking again and you shouldn't be. So they put in my chart that I'm a walking miracle. So they acknowledged it because you can't deny like you walking. Can't deny. They said you wouldn't, and there you are. So something had to go right with, and it wasn't any medicine, wasn't any surgeries. So I just love that. I respected my doctor that said, I combine science with when you get a miracle, you get a healing, you get something that's there too. And I think that's all part of believing in science and faith in God and healing, where they work together.
Absolutely. And I think, my message to everybody is you have the power within you to heal yourself. That's the most important thing. And it's really, really difficult when you are faced with something like not being able to move to actually wake up every morning and visualize yourself dancing, walking, when you can't. But if you can do that every day, and if you imagine that you're there already, then that's half the battle, really. So no matter how ill you are, you can make your body heal itself by just telling it that it's well already. I mean, it sounds insane, but you and I are living proof, aren't we, that this sort of mental attitude works.
It really does. And even the Bible says what you think about, you bring about. And the word of life and death is in your tongue. God gave us this power to believe in miracles, believe in the faith. So tell us a little bit how it works. So you do this now. Is it full time? Because you met somebody who said, hey, you're missing your God-given calling here. You need to be doing this. And you stepped in. So good for you. Feel the fear. Do it anyway. You didn't question and do a whole pros and cons. You said, I feel this right. So tell us about how now this works, because you probably have intrigued a lot of people to want to know more from you. And I'm going to put up your website, VanessaElston.com. There you go. So tell us how this works and what this could mean to some people that are stuck getting these diagnoses that just aren't, helping them.
Well, as I've already said, a lot of people come to me as a last resort, and a lot of people come to me and they say, well, I don't really think this will work, but I'm desperate, so I'm going to give it a go. And, it's like,
I'll take it, right?
I know, I'll take it.
Open-minded.
Because, you know what? They're my best testimonials ever, those people. And, the first thing that's really important is we need to have a discovery call. If you're dealing with something really horrible in your background, we're going to have to get intimate about it. You're not going to have to tell me about it, but I am going to identify it. And I'm going to know what the feelings are that you're experiencing it, how you're experiencing it, and probably how it's haunting you on a daily basis. So you've got to feel that I'm the right person for you to get intimate with, and to really share that with, because it's a journey that we're going to go on together. Now, the way I start my sessions is I do an opening ceremony. And that just means that I'm creating a space for us to be safe in, where we can have nothing from the outside influencing us, and that anything I remove is in a sacred space, a container, where I'm able to control its removal and its return to source to be purified and cleansed. So that's what I do first. Then I use a pendulum. I've got one here and my set of maps. And you'll just hear me say, is it on the left? Is it on the right? Now, when it's no, the pendulum does that. And when it's yes, it does this. And that's how I move through all the emotional statements till I get to what it is that's bugging you. And then I look at when it occurred. And all you need to say once I've established that is, yes, you're right. And then I use the pendulum to clear it. And the pendulum will generally whiz around like this. And I'll do a lot of yawning. I'm afraid my clients get to see me with my mouth open quite a lot. Occasionally things will make my eyes run or I'll sneeze. But that's all just sort of clearing it out. And particularly if it's really dark energy and it's been there for a long time, I'll be doing an awful lot of yawning and crying and sneezing and probably a bit of coughing as well. So by the time we found 4 different emotional statements that are haunting you, that are connected to big chunks of nasty energy that are feeding everything negative in your life, and remove them, that's probably enough for you, because that's a really big shift to make in one session. And you'll probably feel exhausted afterwards. You probably need to go to sleep for a couple of hours, and you'll certainly need to drink lots and lots of water, because we're 70 to 80% water and we need to be cleansing. And all these emotions stick in our molecular structure. So water will help us clean out the physical side of things, because what I do is about mind, body and soul. And I want to shift you and get rid of that horrible energy and make you feel lighter, so that you can accept what we call vital force energy. And that's the stuff that makes you feel like a rock star. The stuff when you're walking down the street, there's laser builders fixing up a building and they all whistle at you. Yay, thank you, builders. You've just made me feel great. You call a cab and it's just there. The guy you've been trying to get hold of on the phone for ages to do that great business deal calls you. It's that sort of rock star day. But I want people to have that on the regular. So if you can get to the stage where you've dealt with all that horrible stuff and we've shifted into, being on the good foot, then you can really get serendipity to knock on your door all the time.
Well, all right. Since you mentioned serendipity and you mentioned calling that person and getting that person on the phone, you've always wanted to do business with ever. Let's go back, because this person that you met said, you are denying your calling. You are already a healer. She didn't say, let's make you a healer. She said, you are already called to do this. So let's go back, because you said in the beginning, you had a very successful, thriving business. And this show is about how to help people do, make that more so they can live more and have that legacy like you're living now. But you weren't necessarily doing what you were called to do. But do you feel that you were talking about Princess Diana and working with Harrods? I mean, those are big deals. Those are big partnerships. Those are big breakthroughs. Do you feel it's because of you having this inside you and that you were able to manifest that? Talk to me how you see the connection, that even though you didn't know the powers that be that you tapped into them later, but those are some big milestones. Do you feel there's some connection, even unknowingly?
Yeah, well, I think, we're all able to do this. And I think I did it by accident when I was a lot younger. I'm a little old girl from the country. I was born in London. My parents moved to the country and I grew up in agricultural, tractor, fancying, shooting and fishing country. So, but I always loved fashion, and I would be at the newsagent the minute Vogue came out to get the first copy off their shelf. I just loved anything to do with clothing, fabrics, design, all that sort of thing. And even though I was surrounded by everything with a real focus on agriculture and growing food and the weather and all that sort of thing, I stuck out like a sore thumb, because I was always, doing my version of whatever was in vogue and trying to be that sort of supermodel that was on the cover in my wellies. So I always imagined what it was I wanted to do. And then when I went to work at Harrods, and I got on the training course to be a buyer, I just imagined working next to Al Fayed on a regular basis, because when he took over, he really shook things up. He'd walk in and he'd decide something that would happen and it'd be like, wow, it's happening straight away. And it was really exciting. So I decided that I'd like to be by his side, working on stuff with him. Even though most people found him quite scary, my dad was a bit of a shouter, so wasn't really that worried about that side of things, really. I just sort of thought it was quite normal. So out of the blue, the best floor managers got called up to his office, and we all got asked loads of questions about different things that he'd done. And one of them was the new commission scheme. And they said, "What do you think?" And everyone went, "Oh, I think it's amazing. It's fantastic," really sycophantic. And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I think it's rubbish. It doesn't reward, the junior staff. It allows the older staff to make sure that they're always on the floor grabbing all the best customers. And when that happens, we're losing out on the training of selling, in my department, haute couture clothes. And, dressing somebody and knowing about the clothes is part of the sale. It's a big piece of drama to sell a jacket that's over £1,000 in the 80s. So he clapped his hands and he went, "Everyone go, you stay." And I was like, oh goodness, he's going to tell me to get my black bin bag and be out the back door, shadowed by the security guards. And he said, "Thank you for being really honest. I've bought this business, Tamblanassa Tailors on German Street. It's a disaster. And I want you to go down there and work with this ex-princess who works with the Shah of Iran to get it up to speed and make it be really, make sports, hunting and shooting wear cool again, really." So I just got shipped off in a taxi, gave me 50 quid for a taxi. So I went on the
How much is that in US dollars?
That'd be about $70 US. But remember, this is the 1980s.
Right.
So I took a 70p ticket on the tube, hopped out the other end, pocketed the money, and, just stepped in and started working on it.
Oh my! And this was Princess Diana. I guess after divorce.
No, pre-divorce.
Pre-divorce. Okay, got you. And what did you get to do for her?
We got to measure her up for, everything we did was bespoke. So we'd have a sort of standard design, but then it would be measured to fit you precisely.
What
so
do you
if
mean
it fitted, sorry. Well, each thing is made individually for you. So we'd have a variety of shirt fabrics, suit fabrics, flannels, cashmeres. And although we had standard things like beautiful velvet dressing gowns lined with paisley fabric in silk, you'd get to choose what they were, what piping you wanted on it, what colour tassels you wanted on, whether you wanted matching slippers, whether you'd like that paisley as standard to you as your look, so you'd like us to line your gloves with it. Would you like it on the inside of your hunting jacket? All very, very cool. So we made, hunting and shooting a fashion item. It was no longer good enough to just have your standard heavy wear gear. You were able to have a fashion update on that with beautiful tailoring and wonderful cloth. And that's what we did. So we measured her and talked to her about the fabrics and got her opinion on things because she was so lovely. And it was great. She was very down to earth, actually. I mean, she comes in and you have to do all the curtsying and all that malarkey. But then she'd be like, almost like, "Can we just sit down and be normal, please? And can you just treat me like I'm normal?" And that's what the joy of working with her was really, her desire to be normal and just be treated like everybody else, really.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we feel that way. I know over here, probably most of us in America feel that she was that down to earth. She was the one that was hugging the AIDS patients. She was the one that was walking on those landmines. We feel she was really the people's princess. And we loved her over here in America, of course, because she was so down to earth and so not pompous and just seemed like that girl next door. So I'm going to ask one more question. What is one thing that really maybe she said to you or stuck out from you? Because this is about people really just being inspired to live their dreams and live their biggest legacy. Was there something that stood out she said to you or something about that experience that really resonated with you that you never forgot?
Really just that she was so grateful when we had a couple of instances. What you have to remember about these people they are hounded by the paparazzi, and it's horrific. And we had a couple of occasions where we had to see them off. literally they were trying to break into the shop, and we were pushing the doors and, trying to just get them locked so we could just have some private time with her. And we took her to the back office and closed all the doors and gave her a cup of tea. And she just said, thank you. And it was such a grateful thank you that we recognized how horrific it was for her and how important it was to keep her away from that. And it was a sadness in her eyes that I'll never forget, that really, as things unfolded, we got to realize quite how unhappy she was and how dreadfully that was affecting her. So even under those hideous circumstances, she still could find it in her to just say thank you to us. And we were just, at the end of the day, shop staff. Do you know what I mean? It might work for Al Fayed, but we're standing in a shop selling clothes. We're not special. She took time.
But that part, wardrobing. I mean, I love the movie The Devil Wears Prada, because it brings it back down to that sweater you're wearing. That's just that blue cobalt. Throw it over. Is a process of decisions made by people who know fashion, who get you that specific color for that specific whatever. And even though people just throw things on a normal day, there's so much to it that you helped people like Princess Diana and all of us, just normal everyday people feel good, look good. Because what's the alternative? We're going naked, right? The job is just, we're just shopkeepers. Without you, without people making our clothes, that's a whole different world out there. It's called New Beaches, but we need you. And you also help us in so many ways. Exemplify our style, our personality. Everything goes into that. So she should be, so grateful to you. Just like I remember Mary Kay Ash was a big deal in my life here in America and around the world for what she did with cosmetics. And she said she helped break the glass ceiling for women in business. And she's always told us that the most important person in your business today could be the gentleman who fixes your air conditioning on a hot August day in Dallas. And she would always, when she went in hotels, walk through the kitchen, thank all the kitchen staff. And Mary Kay was, multi-millionaire, in the day, maybe billion, I don't know, but so wealthy, but so appreciative of every single person that did every single job, because it makes us all go round. There's no one lesser job than another. End of story. Your job is just as important as the King of England, the Queen of England, all of that. We all work on this together. We're all a big puzzle. And I'm so glad you confirm what we're all thinking, that princess was the people's princess, that she was there and sit down, have a cup of tea with you.
Yeah, and I think, that's a real demonstration of operating on a high frequency, no matter what. And what you've just said is all high frequency stuff. If you go through life paying forward, I've worked on a checkout in a supermarket. It's an awful job. So when I'm doing my shopping, I always make a point of saying to the checkout lady, love your hair, beautiful voice, fantastic nails. Thank you for so much. You've just made my day perfect.
Man.
And equally, if I hear anybody being rude to them, I step in and say, would you mind? You're really ruining my day with your horrible attitude. It's really bringing me down. Because the girl behind the counter can't tell them to bog off.
Right.
And I will. I don't like bullies. So, I think that sort of thing's really important. And what does it take? I think it's a tenfold rule. You put that out and you keep putting it out during your day, then that serendipity comes back from other people. Other good stuff comes back to you tenfold.
It so does. Serendipity, and what goes around comes around, and you attract like-minded people, which is so true. Kind people attract other kind people. And it just does make the world go round. So, Vanessa, you're just wonderful. I love all the things you've done and accomplished, and you're going for it. So, inspire and encourage our listeners and our viewers on, okay, they're sitting back. Gosh, I have a dream. I would love to do this. I'd love to be in this presence. I'd love to work with this person. Give us a couple of tips that they could do right now to make their dreams a reality, something that maybe you've done, something they can think of. I'm going to put your website up again, because I really think you can do this from anywhere in the world, which correct, right? They don't have to be coming to
you can see me, if you're in Azerbaijan, if we can get a Zoom link together, I can see you. So, no problem at all.
I love that. All right, so give us a piece of advice that if they're trying to live their wildest dreams, because that's what I love to teach on, how to live your wildest dreams. You know, my Emmy Awards, the wildest dream, TEDx, the whole thing. You know, you have not because you want not or ask not, the whole 9 yards. You know, what have you got to lose for giving it a whirl? It's kind of my attitude. But you've got this in so much more of a scientific gift of this. So talk to us, give us some hope on the wildest dreams, what they can do to take steps to make them a reality.
Okay, well, you don't need much time and you can do this anywhere. But the most important thing is the law of vibration, the law of frequency. We're all electrical, powerhouses oscillating away. So it's very important that we're vibrating on a good frequency so that we can attract serendipity in. So law of attraction, great, but let's get the law of, frequency and vibration right. Now, the way I do this is I wake up every morning and I spend 10 minutes being grateful. I'm grateful I can move. I'm grateful I can breathe. A lot of people have got difficulties breathing at the moment, with allergies and all sorts of things going on. So they're two things. I'm grateful I've got a roof over my head, food in the fridge. I'm grateful I've got friends, loved ones, all the wonderful things that money can't buy. I am incredibly grateful for. Then I'm grateful for anything that's happening to me in my business, people that are coming in to help me. I never think about how I'm going to do something. I think about who can come and help me achieve it as a collaboration. So that in itself is quantum thinking, because in quantum, 1 and 1 isn't 2, it's 3. Because 1 and 1 is one wave and 3 continues it. So 10 minutes a day on gratitude. And you might want to write this down because it's good to look back on it at the end of the day and just remember to be grateful for it again. So 10 minutes on that. Then I set my alarm for 15 minutes and I do this. I close my eyes and I raise my eyes with my eyes closed, just looking up by about 20%. Don't want to be straining your eyes, but it's with your eyes closed. And then I start deeply breathing, in with the good, out with the bad. And I count back from 10 to 1. And by the time I've got to 1, I can see beautiful coloured blobs. Now, other people see lines or pictures, whatever it is. But when you start to visualize these very calming images, you've got into the alpha zone. And this is a really good place to be. This is when you can connect to source and really get clear on what it is you have a taste for. Now, not what I want, because I'll always be wanting. Not what I desire, or I'll always be desiring. And not because I deserve, because you'll always be deserving. What I have a taste for has no energetic negativity attached to it. It's like, I have a taste for a chocolate ice cream. Oh, scrap that. Make it pistachio. It has no negatives attached to it. So I have a taste for, and it might be living in a beautiful glass house overlooking the ocean with a Ferrari on the drive. Your imagination is limitless. Everything the universe can give you is limitless. So if that's what you want, don't be ashamed. If you want a castle in Scotland, that's cool. Don't be ashamed. Don't attach any shame or guilt. It's a limitless experience for you to have what you really, really have a taste for. And while you're there, get really clear on it. What's it feel like living in your castle? What's it feel like with your sunglasses on doing 100 miles an hour? Oh, did I say that? 70 miles, officer, in your Ferrari, whizzing down the highway overlooking the ocean. What's it feel like when you get out of your pool and wrap your lovely luxurious towels about you and sort of shake the water off in the sunshine? Whatever it is, really get in there and imagine it, because we're sending this into chaos, into a beyond your imagination. So it can come back in any way at all. So you better have your eyes open. Anyway, the alarm will go off. And what you want to do is just count back from 10 to 1. When you get to 3, open your eyes, have a yawn. 2, back in the room. 1. And this is the really important bit. And so it is. So you've already established that it's going to happen because you're already accepting that that's how it is. And that's how I manifest. And I do it with people, situations, anything that I want to happen or I have a taste for happening, that's when I do it. And after that 15 minutes, I just go about my day and things miraculously happen. Those phone calls happen. It really is incredible. But you can start small. You can start small with, I'd really like a parking space outside that incredibly busy restaurant that I've never been able to get a parking space outside in the last 10 years I've been going there. Ask for the help of the parking angels. I did this with a friend of mine, and she's from London. We got there and she was like, yeah, right, this doesn't, this really doesn't work, does it? It's like, give it a minute. And literally, as I said it, a huge, great car pulled out right in front of the restaurant, and we were able to back right in. And I was like, boom, take that to the bank. That's the power of the universe.
We can use that over here in Atlanta. I don't know I think your London traffic's probably as bad as us here in Atlanta. So we just say, I pray there's no traffic and accidents on my way to work. Right to the city. Oh my gosh, that's great. I love that. Well, I hope that has helped so many people today. And when you were doing that, now should they be doing the same thing every day or visualizing different things every day? Because people are multifaceted. There's different dreams, different hopes they have maybe each day. Or should they concentrate the same one until it happens?
No, not at all. I mean, I feel that once I've let it go and said, and so it is, it's in the bank.
Okay.
I'm then on to something else. So it may be the next day I'm concentrating on my sister getting over her operation and the doctor saying to her, can't believe how quickly you're healing. I might spend 15 minutes doing that because that's important to me on that day. Or I might have a whole list of people that I would like to meet that would be the who's in getting my project over the line. So switch it up all the time, because as you say, we've got a lot going on. And if you've got something really big that you want to achieve, don't be frightened of it. Just keep adding all the elements every day, and you'll be amazed how quickly they start appearing. And they won't appear, as you said, with the people that you think they will. It may be the brother of the guy that tidies up your garden once a week, might be the head of Sony. You just never know. And you might be looking for a break to get your record out, to get a record deal. You never know. So keep your eyes and ears open, because serendipity knocks in the most unusual and sometimes undercover ways.
Yeah, it does. Better than you can think or ask. You sometimes get exactly what you were thinking, but even in a better way. And how do you work with people? Like you said in the beginning, I don't know if we were on the air yet, or we might have been the pre-conversation before we went on the air, about you growing up in a faith-filled house when you're growing up. And do you get clients that have great faith in God that also want to do this, that you can incorporate this kind of blends together? Because I see it's got a lot of similarities in people that wake up with prayer and meditation, asking God to do this. So how does that blend a little bit? Because I know we got a lot of Christian viewers as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I have a lot of, people from different religions, have a lot of Jewish clients, have Hindu clients, have Church of England clients. And sometimes, during our discovery call, it'd be one of the things that they're perhaps a little apprehensive about because it's so unusual in that world. But yet healers are mentioned in the Bible. I think we talked about this before we came on air, and lots of these things, ask and you shall be given, is in the Bible. There's lots of clues there. So I think of us all as elements of God in the 3D form. And I think of the devil as fear and shame and guilt and resentment and obligation, all those bad things that make us feel really rotten to the core. And what we need to realize is that as elements of God, we've got it all. It's all there. Think about nature. Look at the weeds in your yard. I looked at mine before I came on air. They're pushing up through tons and tons of concrete. It doesn't matter what you zap them with. Nature has given them the force, the energetic force to just keep going. That's their purpose, to grow. And it should be ours. Everything is there. We just need to ask for it and access it and not let the fear in. And when the fear comes in, we need to be so whatting it. This is what I say to my clients all the time. They say, well, it's great. I feel great. But, nasty Gertie is still telling me I'm too fat or too thin, or I'm not good enough to be accepted by my male peers. Well, is that voice stopping you breathing? No. Is that voice stopping you walking? No. That voice is just feeding on your history. So say what, that voice? Say what? What are you going to do? I'm from South London. That's a real South London thing. It's like, say what? What are you going to do about it?
So what? Let's do you. You said something really important, and before we start wrapping up, that was a great analogy you just gave, Vanessa. And you might say that analogy many, many times over the course of your workday. But it really just resonated with me that you just talked about the weeds coming up in your garden, coming through concrete and making their way up to the sunshine where we don't want to see them, but they're determined to get there. And if we could turn that around and be that determined for doing good and doing what we want with our lives to make this world a better place and to achieve our dreams and our goals, because we know we have such value, like you said, to give to this world, why shouldn't we be just even more tenacious with what we want to do, what we want to accomplish? And like I'm always saying, go over, under, around, or through. But you just made a whole different visual in my mind of that going through that concrete and coming up to the side. If a weed can do it, if the bad can do it, how much more can we do it if we focus on it and give attention to it? So with that, if somebody really wants to, they're battling something right now, because you specialize in depression, anxiety, burnout, and overwhelm. And in my world of entrepreneurs and business owners after the pandemic, especially, so many people trying to break through, still pivot, still reinvent themselves, still get their stride back that was taken from them because whatever situation they had during that time of ours. What do you give and what advice to be that good weed, that good flower that wants to just catapult and break through some of this, not glass ceiling, but cement ceiling?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'd say the reason I'm good at anxiety and depression is because I've been there. I know what it's like not to be able to walk outside the front door, not to be able to get out of bed in the morning. And I know what it's like to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning guzzling vodka. So first up, be aware that I'm pretty unshockable. And, the other thing is you're not special. There's lots of people like you. So don't feel alone. Don't feel that you're the only person going through this. And realize that it's transient. It can change. And it's okay to not be able to cope. It really is. Life throws so many tough, horrible things at us to deal with. And we're just supposed to be able to get on with it and have a stiff upper lip. Well, if you've had that constantly being thrown at you, then it's okay to collapse in a heap and say, I'm overwhelmed, I can't cope anymore. And, what I'd say to you is, take a step forward, contact me for a discovery call, or anybody that has good testimonials. It doesn't matter what modality you choose. It needs to be right for you. But what you want to be looking for is people who have testimonials where you can trace the people that have given the testimonials. You can find them on LinkedIn, that they're real people. And see, what you should be looking for is this healer, this person helped me at a very fast pace. This person shifted me forward from misery to optimism and joy. Because when I see people, no matter how bad the thing is that they're dealing with, I don't want to see you forever. I mean, I love all my clients, and lots of the times we'll become friends, but I want to fix you up. I want to shift you, mend you, and move you into a place where you can really enjoy life. But more importantly, you can recognize and fulfill all the dreams that you have, but enjoy it in a state of confidence where you actually love yourself, because you only get one of you. You can't change it. So you better start loving yourself, because there's no replacements. There's no refunds, So that's what I'm all about, really.
I love that. And you're right. We're all we've got. And we have to fight those inner demons, should I say, that say, and I love you talked about this too, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too short, you're too this. And I feel like that's a real battle, especially with women. We're always looking at somebody else who's better and more beautiful and taller and more successful. And we love to serve, we love to help others. So we're always putting ourselves last. So this is really great that you're able to do this with people. So I have your website up, Vanessa Elston, and you also, I like that you said too, there's so many fakes out there in every industry, from coaching to finances to whatever you do. It's not just in your industry or in any other industry. There's fakes everywhere that say they're going to deliver all the goods. And I'm a real advocate of finding testimonials, so finding people that have been there and said, yep, they're the real deal. So I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be my next question. You're the real deal. And how do you show to other people that you have gotten successes? Because you're right out there. You show people your success stories. People say, oh my gosh, she's helped me so much. So if they could go to any social media, will they find all your social media on vanessaelston.com? Or do you have a special social media platform that you really love, like LinkedIn, where your testimonials are there, or are they all on your website?
They're all on my website, but I publish them regularly on LinkedIn. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn and I love Instagram, actually. I love Instagram because it's just really visual and like takes a couple of minutes. LinkedIn's a bit like Facebook for grown-ups, really. So I like to show up there because, you know, a lot of my clients are CEOs, directors of companies, and it seems that, you know, that's a good place for me to advertise the successes I have, and hopefully, you know, attract more people to come and be helped, because my mission is, you know, to help as many people as possible get healing on the map as a credible option and not considered, you know, woo-woo or the devil's work.
Right.
And, you know, I'm also working with a quantum healthcare company at the moment, and our mission is to save 1 million lives. And that's what I'd also say to your listeners is, it's not, if you have the right intention for your business, if it's about making positive change for all, if it's about making money for everybody, if it has really genuine core values, then the money will come anyway, because you're operating on the good foot already. You're operating on a high frequency, and you don't have to worry about money. Money's just an energy. It comes to the right people.
It does. Are you, very well said. Are you Vanessa Elston on LinkedIn and on Instagram? Is that how they find you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm really easy to find.
I love that. Oh, so good. So good. On that note, what I love to ask all of my guests, because this kind of happened over time in my business when I wrote my book, and then I started doing Live Your Legacy TV, which you see the awards for, telling people stories that are making the world a better place, how to live your greatest legacy. Then I did a Live Your Legacy Summit event, and that was really popular right before the pandemic put a pause on it. So I love to ask my guests this question. What is your legacy? I love to help women, especially, live their legacy on purpose, because as women, we're so geared to helping everybody else be the best they can be, our children, our husbands, our friends. You know, are you okay? Like you were saying in the beginning, are you okay? I'm fine. What about you? So especially as a woman, how are you living your legacy on purpose? And what is that legacy you want to be remembered for when this particular journey is over?
Well, I'd like to be remembered as a change maker that helped other people elevate during that change. And that's why I'm working with My Life Spring, who are bringing out, I've literally just saw it before this call, so I'm super excited.
What is it?
It's a quantum resonance app that's going to be available on iPhone. Now, this is going to use sound and light. So it's going to use the camera on your phone to put out different light frequencies and a sound frequency. And you're going to be able to zap your whole body and bring yourself into a state of harmony frequency. You're also going to be able to zap pain points on your body and get almost instantaneous results. It's got a regenerative sleep mode frequency, and we all need a bit of that, don't we?
Yeah, really. Is it your invention?
No, it's an amazing invention that's been created by Mark Rolandis Rosales and Greg Becker, who is the director and producer of the Living Matrix film, which you can see on YouTube. And this is part of our healthcare democracy for all. You know, I've already said that Big Pharma didn't offer me a solution that could get me better, just something that made me less worse. This is an app that literally you can start using straight away and will make you feel so much better.
Two questions on that. How are you involved in that, and when will it be available?
Well, it's coming soon. We're just doing a few final tweaks at the moment to make sure that our affiliate program works, because we believe in passing things on. As I've already said, in quantum, 1 and 1 is 3. So you'll be able to download it for 99 cents, try it out for a week, and then you'll be able to subscribe to the full app for $400 a year, which is about $110 a day, I think, less than a cup of coffee.
And are you an investor or a consultant? How are you involved with this company? It sounds so cool.
I'm partnering the inventor. We met last Christmas, and it was like we'd known each other for like forever. And he showed me his technology. This is just part of it. And I was really, really impressed, blown away. It's like Star Trek, frankly. And what I love about working with him in the quantum field is that it actually scientifically explains what I do. So if anybody does call me woo-woo when I'm talking about an aura, I can say, well, actually, in quantum physics, it's been proven that we have a morphogeneric field. What I do is quantum entanglement through quantum resonance, and quantum is something that is always dressed up to be really difficult, that you need to be sort of Einstein intelligence to understand it. And you don't, you really don't. And this app is just part of our wish to have a healthcare democracy for all and to save 1 million lives.
Wow.
So I'm involved in bringing the right people together to make that happen. So I'm like, I don't know, search and select, and then the glue to stick it all together to get the right who's in place to help us achieve our goal.
Well, you just got a second invitation to be on my show then. When that app comes out and you're ready to launch it, come back on. I want you to make sure we're going to stay in touch, of course. Let me know, and we will get you on, get the founders on, and we will let the world know this is here. Because as a cancer survivor myself, and I know so many, charities, nonprofits that are trying to cure so many different things, and with pharmaceuticals just going up and up, and they think that's the cure for everything when we know it's not, that we have to take care of our bodies ourselves through all sorts of different ways of care. Most people, especially here in America, take better care of their cars than they do their own bodies. I mean, they take such good care of them, put the right additives in it, give it the right care, and we put nothing but junk and, like you said, drugs and everything, trying to just put Band-Aids on. And sometimes, unbeknownst, because there's just no cure, like you were saying, they didn't know what to do with you. So here, take some painkillers, hope you feel better, but there's no cure, there's no root of, here's what's happening, here's how we can relieve the problem, not just today's pain. And you're on to something, you're on to that. So the world needs to know it. So I'm going to bring you back on. So you've got a standing invitation. That's ready. You better get on the hotline, let me know, and we'll bring you back on. Thank you.
Oh, that is amazing news. Thank you so much. And, we've got so many testimonials already, covering alcoholics and drug addicts, scanning their bodies, feeling great, people that have had anxiety and depression, PTSD, scanning, feeling great, people that haven't walked for, 6 months, and the doctors have said, oh, you're just going to have to walk with a stick, sapping their feet, and they're up and about. I had a Zoom call yesterday with a lady who Zoom me to dance. She said, look at this. I was with a stick last time I saw you. Check out my moves, and she's about 70. This is what I'm about, I want to hear people shifting and getting better. And the joy of that is amazing, just incredible. And that's what we want to spread, wellness for all that doesn't cost a fortune.
Please, yes. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Because there is no affordable healthcare that I know of anywhere. It's just crazy. And I love also taking care of yourself. So am I hearing you correctly? You're already trying it out on people. How do people get a hold of you? Like, is this like a tester program, or is this something you're looking for more guinea pigs? I mean, people that try it out. You're working on what kind of people now? And it seems like then it might be really close to launching to the general public.
Well, it is really close to launching to the general public, and I can't really tell you any more about it, to be honest with you. But we have, a lot of doctors, a lot of chiropractors, health practitioners that have been trying it out, because this has been nearly 10 years in the making.
Really?
And the brains behind this are genii. I'm really thick compared to them. They are off the scale. And, you know, this stuff really, really works. I'm not really interested in all the algebraic stuff that sits behind it. I don't need to understand that. I need to experience feeling better. And that's what we've got. So, you know, yes, we have been testing it out. We will be launching it pretty soon, and we're really, really excited about it. We've also got a great affiliate program, 2 levels, not an MLM at all. So it's like, once you've signed up, you can get your own affiliate link and pass it on to as many friends as you like. And every time they buy one, you get direct from you get $150. So it's a really, really generous commission. And when your friend sells it on, $50. After that, where it goes is up to the universe, because it's only the 2 levels. But we always feel, you know, it's wonderful to pass anything you've got that's good. You know, you recommend a good restaurant, don't you? Recommend a good vitamin pill. Why wouldn't you recommend something that's going to make you feel top to toe an awful lot better than you did 10 minutes before you used this amazing quantum resonance app?
It saved your life. You're literally a walking testament to everything that you do, because it wasn't too long ago you couldn't even get out of bed, and now look at you doing cartwheels again, up and running. So glad, and so glad you are. And I know we're out of time now, but you're coming back. So excited. We'll make sure those links are in the description. And if you put all your information, your VanessaElston.com, so they can have all of that as well. They can stay up to date with you. This would be great. And I'm just so glad to have you on this show. Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing all of this and so much more on Get Celebritized. Thank you for being here.
My absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for inviting me back. I love your show, and it's such an honor to be part of it. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, for now, this is Rhea and Vanessa from Get Celebritized, trying to help you earn more so you can live more. And that's the juicy word. Live your life pain-free. Live the biggest legacy you can so you can give back more. And that's exactly what my guest today is doing, giving back to the world, giving back to help 1 million people live longer, get out of pain, heal them of their pain, their ailments, and sickness. There's enough sickness in the world. Let's make a difference and get rid of that. So thank you, Vanessa. Thank you all. Until next time, this is Rhea. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.